Hello guys, this is FK and this is a rant video. Yeah, this is a rant video. This video is even going to be unedited. I'm not going to be doing any fancy editing or any stuff like that. There's not going to be anything like that. No color grading. So this is my real face. Tech Cabal released an article yesterday, and honestly, since that yesterday, I've not been able to sleep properly. I've not been able to sleep properly. What is going on in the African tech ecosystem? What are founders doing? Like, I'm not an economic expert, or will I claim to be a startup expert, but I understand 1 plus 1, I understand 2 plus 2, I understand basic arithmetic, and I don't understand what is currently going on with African startup founders getting money and blowing it, sometimes without a product. So Tech Cabal released this article. Now this is the article. Mara startup. Let me bump the article a little bit because we don't have B-rolls here, so you might not be able to see stuff very well. So this startup called Mara got funding in 2022, just slightly 2 years ago. 2022, they got $23 million. I'm going to be reading through the article. If you want to follow along with the article, just Google Tech Cabal Mara. It's the very first article, July 1. That's just yesterday. They got $23 million in 2022, and by the end of 2022, when auditors came to audit the company, they had lost 16 million. They had lost it. Like, it just went into the air. But there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we're going to look at. And I'm just going to be reading through the article. So, like I said, if you want to follow along with me, you can just open the article also, or you can just hear me talk. I'm going to read everything out. And I'm going to be giving my comments in between. Because I don't understand this reward before work mentality that African founders are now using to run business. Before product comes out, they have paid themselves so much money that it's mind-boggling. No product, then no profit. When they now have a product, they keep working at a high burn rate without any reasonable profit. So let me just calm down. Like I see, I don't like shout. I don't like shout, but this one is a rant video, and sorry, excuse me, there's going to be a lot of shouting because I can't understand what I'm looking at. So the article goes thus. It says, at the peak of 2021 crypto optimism, experts argue that Africans are to participate in the crypto economy. We know we carry last now. We have to join. We have to create products and educate a continent of young people on a future that Web3 was sure to dominate. For all those people that were very high on Web3 that time. Okay? So those arguments led to the launch of startups like Mara, Coin Mara Inc. Interesting. A Pan-African exchange that set out to build Africa's crypto economy. Okay, all good. Crypto was buzzing around that time. We can't be left out. We have to innovate. Fine. So, founded by Chinyere Chi Nnadi, Lucas Lenas Monera, Kate Carlott, and Derek Obertune. Sorry if I'm not doing any of the names. I think some of them are not Nigerian names. In 2021, Mara was hit with investors. And why wouldn't they? You see, around that 2021-2022 period, there was this zero interest rate on bonds in the US mainly. So investors were trying to diversify their funds. So if you are thinking maybe like, were these investors dumb? Why were they pouring so much money? There was zero interest rate on bonds. So they had to diversify their portfolio. Yeah, they had to diversify their investment portfolio and put some money into high risk investments, like startups, because startups are very, very high risk investment. 80-something% of startups are going to fail anyway. So they were hit with a lot of funds because crypto was high, and they brought ideas, and investors were basically looking for where to put money. So because interest rate was zero. So in May 2022, according to Tech Cabal, the company raised $23 million. $23 million from Alameda Research, the trading arm of FTX. FTX has also gone down. Coinbase Ventures, and 100 other investors at a pre-money valuation of 70 million. Pre-money valuation of that's another big scam in this whole startup space. Just floating valuations, and people start thinking that you guys are now big. So, in a stunning reversal of fortunes that took only 2 years, there was a company I worked before. They had been existing for 6 years, and at the 6th year, that's when they were able to raise $30 million, and they were even considered as part of the fast rising companies. It took them 6 years to raise $30 million. So, Tech Cabal said, in a stunning reversal of fortunes that only took 2 years, Mara ran out of cash. Yes. Snake swallowed the money. Mara suddenly ran out of $200 $23 million. $23 million. With CEO Chinyere Nnadi registering a new entity named Jara. The shege in Mara was not enough. I'm about to create Jara. In 2024, he just created that one, in case you're interested. Two co-founders who left the company in early 2023 claimed that Nnadi only established the new company, Jara, to avoid responsibility for Mara's responsibilities. They said Mara could have been something extraordinary. That's why they invested in it anyway. But his CEO took it down a dark and rotten path. Okay? Those co-founders, they're basically throwing this guy under the bus. But I don't think he's the only guilty one. But they're basically throwing him under the bus here. Those co-founders said in a note to investors, Chinyere Nnadi did not respond to multiple requests for comments for this article. Of course, why will he? So, Section 2, a promising start for Mara. Flush with funding in 2022, Mara began building a crypto wallet and layer 1 blockchain backed by Mara tokens. According to Mara's leadership team, everything was on track when Mara wallet launched in February 2023 with 4 million verified users. I don't know who the investors are. I don't know who they were giving this information, or this was part of the marketing that they were trying to push to us. But you are not ChatGPT. How did you guys get to 4 million users by February 2023? Okay. Well, let's continue. 4 million verified users. Wonderful. Let me tell you, I just heard of Mara yesterday, and I'm very, very plugged into the distance space. Now, it doesn't mean that I can get all information, but 4 million verified users for a company that someone like me just knew yesterday. Okay, let's continue. The company also touted its community of users earning Mara tokens for educating others about crypto. Fine. Like many startups that raised money at the height of the zero interest rate phenomenon in 2021, Mara incinerated cash at an extraordinary pace, according to internal documents by Tech Cabal. It lost $15.9 million in 2022. $15.9 million in 2022, according to a copy of an audited financial statement to auditors. It didn't report any revenue because it hadn't launched a product in 2022, yet expenses were already astronomical. They burnt $15.9 million in 2022 and they don't have a product yet. They got that money in 2022. They got that money in 2022 and they burnt it. Was it May they got the money? Or March? May. They got around May. And by the end of 2022, I assume this audit was conducted by the end, they had burnt 15.9 million. For context, I once worked at a Canadian company for 2 years. Within the first year that we were operating, because I was one of the first 5 people in that company. Within the very first year that we were operating, we had $300,000. The total investment in the whole company was $300,000. And by the time we were 1 year into the product, even Okta was already using our product. We already had a product. And by 1 year, but as at a year into the life of that company, Okta was already using our product and we only had 300K. In fact, I was always praying that we raise more money because my contract was depending on we raising more money. Then later we were able to raise, I think, $2 million or something, and my mind went down. My mind became calm. These guys burnt $15.9 million within a couple of months, and they didn't have a product yet. Okay, let's continue. It didn't report revenue because they hadn't launched a product yet. Yes, in 2022, yet expenses were astronomical. Mara spent $9.1 million on salaries. Let me repeat that paragraph again. Mara spent $9.1 million on salaries, bonuses, and allowances. People that have not generated one kobo are collecting bonus. Sorry, let me tell you. People that have not launched a product, they've not launched a product. They're collecting bonuses. Okay, but and allowances. Wonderful. There are even a lot of rumors. I was hearing of all the crazy parties they were throwing. I heard that there was also another rumor that each executive that comes on board is given I think Range Rover or something. Just back Land Rover. Just give the guy to or the lady to to feel just C-level executive position. It had 130 employees, said one person with knowledge about Mara's operation. 130 employees. 130 employees, no product. What I'm very sure some people's cousins, some people's sisters, or they were on that payroll. I'm very, very sure, because I don't get what you are doing with 130 employees and there's no product. Okay. According to them, listen to this. This was one of the parts that was triggering for me. According to them, they said, we paid high salaries to attract talent from well-paying companies like Apple and competitors like Yellow. Like Yellow Card. You don't have a product, you already have competitor. Okay, and competitors like Yellow Card, but they didn't always deliver. You paid high salaries to recruit people, to poach people from companies like Apple. You have to go to Apple, the most the highest valued company in the world. That's where you have to go and pick your own employees. You went to Apple and competitors like Yellow Card, and you brought them in, but they did not deliver. Did you buy them on Temu? Did you buy them on AliExpress? I don't understand. They didn't deliver what? These are rock stars. You claim they are rock stars from Apple and a big card company like Yellow Card, and they did not deliver. They don't deliver what? What were they delivering? Okay, good. You guys are just sharing money between your friends. Unadi wrote in an it wasn't even Unadi that wrote this one. Wonderful. Unadi wrote in an investor report acknowledging the company's cash burn during its growth phase. Yeah, you see what a lot of us don't understand is that the growth in the tech industry, especially in the last that's pre-layoff tsunami before the last layoff, the growth in the tech industry was mainly driven by investments. People thought it was driven by profit and growth. No, it was driven by investment. That's why the layoff was catastrophic, because as the interest rates got raised up, investors started pulling their money, and we just saw the whole tech bubble crushing down. But because these companies were doing big things, that's why the tech industry was just growing. No, that growth was driven by investment, not profit. A lot of companies were not making money. A lot of companies had not turned profit. Let's focus. Let's continue. Is it with 5 million left in cash by the end of 2022? They raised 23 million around 2022, and by the end of 2022, they had 6 months later, they had 5 million left. Jesus Christ, are you building railway? What are you building? Software products? and by that time, they didn't have a product too. 5 million left. 5 million left out of 23 million. Okay. So, section next. Failure to raise failure to raise follow-on funding wasn't problem. No, that's not their problem. That was not their problem. Their greed. Their chronic parasitic attitude. That's what was their problem. So Mara's timing couldn't have been worse. The end of ZIRP, that's zero interest rate phenomenon, and the 2023 crypto winter made it difficult to raise cash. The departure of 3 of Mara's co-founders effectively left only Nnadi running the company, and those exits spooked investors. One person claimed, I don't know how much. So the fact that they bought 15, I don't know who are these investors. So the fact that they bought 15 point something million and they had no product, did not spook you people. It was when people started living. People were living after money was finished. Okay. Despite speaking to several investors for a possible 2 to 5 million, these are people that raised $23 million. So, despite speaking to several investors for a possible $2 to $5 million raise, nothing materialized. Why would something materialize when you have burnt all the money? The investors know that you are basically running an incinerator. So without fresh cash injection, Mara's financial problems worsened. Oh, okay. By June 2023, Mara had cut team size twice. Definitely, it's more people that will suffer to save costs. I'm sure the CEO did not cut his salary and seemed at risk of shutting down. Okay. At 2023, okay. One publication cited generous staff salaries and expensive marketing campaigns as big drains on the company's resources. See, that company, they were just sharing. I don't think that company had any. I don't think they had any plan to build any product. No. I think they kind of banked on the fact that people know that a high percentage of startups will fail. So their main this thing was collecting that money. As they raised that fund, they were already successful. So the whole parade was, or charade, was just about sharing the money until they can tell investors that, sorry, we tried our best and it didn't work. So okay, let's go back. So he said, cited general staff salaries. Why not? They were trying to poach Apple people and expensive marketing campaigns as big drains on the company's resources. It owed vendors who provided technical services. It even owed vendors. But it didn't owe bonuses and okay. It owed vendors who provided technical services like compliance and communications tools over $3 million. 3 people with direct knowledge of the situation said. Those creditors are considering a Chapter 811 involuntary bankruptcy claim against Mara, according to communication by Tech Cabal, seen by Tech Cabal. Mara also faced problems with his Mara wallet, despite its 4 million users claim. They said at least 75% of the 4 million verified users Mara reported it had were fraudulent accounts. One former executive said, see, I don't know who the investors are. And I don't know how. One thing I used to be angry about, especially my contract days, is that the guys that get the biggest contracts are the grifters. They are the grifters. They are the guys that are just fraudulently minded, very nefarious human beings. They're the ones that end up getting the. I don't know the kind of English they go to go and speak. I don't know the kind of English they go to go and speak, because 4 million verified users. Like I said, are you ChatGPT? When did you start? How? Okay, 4 million verified users. Fraudulent. Why not? Why won't it be fraudulent accounts? Do you know how long it took GT Bank to have 4 million customers? Something that was an essential service. Do you know how long it took UBA to have 4 million users? Okay. The financial incentive of the company's referral program encouraged users to create fake Mara wallets. Definitely. They probably did an incentive program or a referral program that was not sustainable. So people are just creating fake accounts. So maybe they tell you, they will dash you like, okay, if you bring somebody who will dash you $50 a day. One guy will just create 20 accounts in one day, $1,000 straight. If you run that for 7 days, you are good for the year. In Nigeria, you are good for the year. So bogged down by financial problems and a poorly received Mara wallet, Onadi registered a new crypto company about jackpot to another company called Jara. Like I said, the shege that was seen in Mara was not enough. They had to provide Jara. They needed extra money. So by April 2024, Mara was no more, and in its place was Jara. I think the website, I think somebody said jara.xyz. By the way, when I was working in the cybersecurity company, we flagged.xyz companies. Like we automatically flag them, except the user, you see, is even telling me that am I sure that I want to accept this? We automatically flag.xyz companies because most of them were being used for scams. But so this guy is not even trying to. Anyway, let's just proceed. No problem. You are fine. I've seen you yesterday. Oh, are you sure they didn't shut this thing down? I saw this thing yesterday. Are you sure they didn't shut it down with the old stuff that is going on? But let's just leave it. Whatever this is. So let's go back. Conway investors. So Mara no longer exists, said a Telegram message from an anonymous community manager who urged the nearly 10,000 users in the Mara Telegram group to download the new Jara app, a non-custodial wallet. Users were told the company's investors are aligned with the new vision. Okay. No wala. So Coinbase Ventures, one of its most prominent investors, did not immediately respond to comments. Inadi offered to transfer the equity of Mara's institutional investors and the tokenized shares of nearly 100 individual investors to Jara, said 2 people familiar with the matter. He also claimed that he invested $700,000 of his funds into Jara. Okay. The rebrand to Jara was to move past the shoddy engineering work of the past. Oh, it's the engineers that are the okay, yeah, blame the developers. True, the developers are the boss, not the CEO that was collecting like $1.2 million per year. Shoddy engineering work of the past are more authentic to how Africans transact. Okay, so all the high-paying C-level executives could not figure that out. Oh, good. CEO Chinyere Nadi told investors. In a separate memo, he also claimed that an employee hired to work on the over-the-counter trading product stole $600,000 from the company's first OTC transaction. The company's very first over-the-counter transactions. You guys were so porous that the guy did not need to work his way into like a social engineering strategy that would take a lot of time for you to trust him, plan some very insidious attack and stuff like that. No, his very first OTC transaction is still $600,000. The guy stole $600,000. The very first OTC transaction. Okay. However, former Mara executives have questions that might blight Jara's new start. Okay. I don't think we need any new information. We've seen enough. They claim Nnadi spent company funds with little oversight and question how money was spent. With little oversight, and he didn't really question how money was spent. While the company's 2022 financial statement showed directors earned a combined $2.6 million. Directors of the company in 2022 alone, they didn't even start the work in January, no, because they got the money. They earned a combined amount of $2.6 million. It is unclear. Do you know if a company, do you even know if a startup gets $2.6 million? Do you know what they can do with it? Do you know what they can do? Do you think Paystack in their Series A, I don't know whether we can Google that, let's say Paystack Series A. Do you think Paystack got $2.6 million in their Series A? Paystack Series A amount, please. Let's see. 8 million. Okay, Paystack Series A account. Okay, then I think maybe their seed fund was definitely smaller than this. But in 2018, Paystack had a $8 million Series A round. These guys spent almost $3 million on salary. In 1 year. This is Paystack's whole Series A amount, $8 million. That's like what percentage? That's over 25%. That's more than 30%. Okay, let's go on. It is unclear how much Nnadi drew as salary. Of 5 C-suite executives, including Nnadi, 3 of them earned $170K each per year. Are they staying in New York? Each of the C-level executives earned $170K each per year. A fourth, the most humble guy, earned 120, just small 120. How much is 120 in 120K in Nigerian this thing now? So $120,000 to naira. So he was earning 180 million naira. That's the smallest guy on the team. The smallest guy on the team was earning 180 million. Okay, let's even say around that time. Probably it was not that much, but we will see get like 140. That's smallest guy. The guy was earning the least. While another earned 600,000. Another guy was earning 600,000. Okay. The combined earnings of those 5 executives were 1.23 million. Suggesting Nnadi, the only executive whose salary was not disclosed, may have earned as much as 1.3 million. Footballer contract. Mikel Obi's first 4-year contract was not $4 million for Chelsea. Not that club was paying for Chelsea. For 4 years, $4 million, I think, around that amount. So, the urge to live CEO life in this our startup space is alarming. The urge to live CEO life, drive big, have big offices, just be going around attending fancy meetings and fancy cocktail parties. So, there are also questions about $500,000 donated to Mara Foundation. The startup's not profit fund. So they've not created a product. They've not generated profit, but now they have non-profit arm. they don't have a non-profit arm, and they donated $500,000 to that. Is this real? How is this real? How is this real? Who is supposed to perform oversight functions on these guys? Okay, let's continue. The Swiss government has formally launched action against the Mara Foundation. Interesting. One former executive wrote to investors. Yeah, that was close. TechAbout could not independently verify that claim. Okay, so let's just say allegedly. Allegedly. Okay. So at least 2 former executives also claim creating Jara is a way to avoid Mara's liability. Yeah, sure now. We know definitely. Is a way to avoid. Oh, that's all. Oh, that was everything. Hey. Oh my God. Reward before work mentality. Yeah, that's what we're doing now. Reward before work. So before you start the work, you first pay yourself very, very well. I remember the first time I was paid mobilization of $1 million. I said $1 million. Sorry, not $1 million. My life will be way better than it right now. 1 million naira. The first time I was paid 1 million naira in my life, like mobilization. I went to go and keep the money in the account of a senior colleague in this tech space. I did not touch that money until I did the work to that amount and presented it to the client, and the client said, "Wonderful." That's when I went to go and cash that money. And I still only spent half. I still kept the remaining half. I still only spent. I remember that time I was when I was about getting married. That's why I used to buy my first TV and our cooker, our gas cooker. I still didn't spend the whole amount. But now we reward ourselves. People reward themselves before doing the actual work. You see, when I started this whole this thing, I've been in tech industries to 2010, so that's like 14 years now. It was more about tech than money. It was more about tech than money. People enter tech because they love building stuff. They love learning technologies. They love showing that, I can build this, I can build that, I can build this, I can build that. But we're not getting paid as much as our knowledge was. People knew, who had God level knowledge and in tech, and they were not being paid as much. One of my friends built an entire operating system. That guy was winning that MTN challenge that they used to do way back then. He was winning like play. He would just pick one of his random projects and just go and win it. These guys were super good, but we're not getting as much money. We're not getting what we were paying people that time, except you get one big government contract, and who do you know that will give you that one? But then God helped us. We started moving into this phase around 2014, 15, 16, 17, where international opportunities started coming up. We were getting remote jobs and stuff. And tech people started getting rewarded for how much they knew and how much they did. But you see now, there are some grifters and I'll just call them grifters for now. I'll just call them grifters. I won't call them fraudsters because that's what I want to call them. Grifters that have entered the industry now, and all they're concerned about is the money. They just want to make money. They just want to chop money. And they are using tech. They are using tech as a pipeline to draw these millions of dollars that is supposed to help people. See what Ezra and Shola have done with Paystack. See how many jobs it has provided. See how many families that company has blessed. See how many lives that company has blessed. See Flutterwave. See what you did with Andela. So many wonderful companies that didn't get as much as these guys got, and have changed lives. They have become a culture. They have helped young people to put their brains and their hands into very, very legit ventures that would make them made in life. And you have these people that are using tech to spoil the whole tech industry, collecting money and just using it to flex up and down and claiming startup failure rates. What are you guys doing? You spend 9.1 million on salaries and no product? Okay, let me go to some of my notes and to just make sure I'm not missing anything that I want to say. And you see, this godlike mentality that CEOs have, I don't get it. This is not even about tech. Most Nigerian CEOs, you can't correct them, you can't advise them. They believe that because they are entrepreneur, they are CEO, they are founder, they already have this God-given divine this thing. So they're just their brain is just special. Anything they think about is gold. Any strategy they bring about is gold. Start spending money, blowing money on silly things in the name of networking, in the name of marketing, blowing money on silly things, setting up themselves as if they've made it. Meanwhile, there's nothing on ground to show for it, and they are proudly parading themselves as the thought leaders, the movers and shakers of the industry. It's super sad. It's super sad. So, okay, I think I've covered everything. I've covered everything here. We need to change. We can't let this new opportunity that we have to change how people look at Africa, how the world looks at Nigeria, to go again. We can't. We're not active when people were doing all those funny email scams of the past. Now we have come with a new generation with skills, with IT skills that they are using to change the world and working at international companies. We have people working at Microsoft, we have people working at Apple, we have people working at Amazon. We have Nigerians and Africans everywhere doing great things. And these so-called founders, investors, and founders and startup executives want to crash all that again, give us another bad image, so that legit people that want to do stuff, that want to build stuff, they will not be going through unwarranted scrutiny. It is sad. This has to stop. There has to be measures that controls and enforces how much CEOs that have not created anything earn. Your earning has to be tied to your production. You collected money and you're the one that decided how much you will earn. How is that reasonable? We need to put this thing in place, else we are going to get another bad image. And we will be the ones at fault. We will be, before, we will be, those people of the past, those people in the past, those people in the past. Now we are the ones. We are the ones. The CEO is probably just in his 40s. This is our generation. And it would be our fault if we mess things up. So anytime you see any kind of thing, anytime you see stuff like that, call it out. Let us call it out and make sure that we don't mess up this new opportunity that we have with tech. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say. Till I see you in another video. I remain your bro in tech, FK.